up? And we're back. It's the one and only. And yo, right now, I'm joined by the one, the only. She's a rising star coming straight out of that 915 El Paso. KP, Krystall Poppin.
What's up? How you doing?
Doing good. How you living? How you been?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Doing music full time. Can't complain.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about Krystall Poppin here for a second.
Yeah.
The name. How did you come up with the name Krystall Poppin?
So it was given to me before I even started making music.
How?
So a family friend was living with me and my family at the time. And it was before I made music, and all my friends would come over to my house and we would like get ready and then we'd go out. And this was like during the summer, so we were going out every night. And every time I'd walk out, like with all my like group of friends, right before I'd leave, he'd be like, "See you later, Krystall Poppin," like to make fun of me, you know, just to poke fun of me and stuff. And he would say that every time I would leave, and I thought it was really funny. And then the day I made my first song, they asked me, the producers, they were like, "So what do I put your name down as, like, for your first song?" And I was like, Krystall Poppin.
And that was it?
That's it. That's how it happened.
So how did you get bit by the bug? Like, what made you want to get started in doing music to begin with? Because you just said, you know, the name Krystall Poppin came before the music.
Yeah.
But how did the music come after the name?
So I feel like the music came to me because I was a writer like most of my life, and I loved writing. I loved journaling. I loved just like making poems and rhymes and stuff. But I never considered like myself that one day I'm gonna be a rapper, or I didn't even have the idea that I wanted to be a rapper. You know what I mean? So one day I just like jumped into a cypher that was going on at a party that I was at, and I spit like one of my verses. And then a guy that was there, like he heard me, he like pulled me aside and he was just like, "Oh shit, do you rap? Like, what's up?" And I told him, I was like, "No, I don't rap, I just write." And then he was like, I got a bunch of like studio equipment, we can go set up and like we can get your first song recorded. Like I make music. He introduced me to his homies and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool. Like that sounds like fun, let's do it. So then sure enough, they brought all their equipment to my house. And then we recorded my first song in my room, and as soon as I heard myself on that track, like that's when I fell in love with it. Like that's when I knew like this is what I want to do. Like.
So who were some of the artists that inspired you, that influenced you? You know, whenever you were growing up over there in the 915, who were some of the artists that you were like, yo, these are the artists that made me fall in love with not just rap music, but music in general?
So my mom, my whole family, her siblings, like they're hip hop heads. So I grew up listening like a bunch of hip hop, old school 90s hip hop. I grew up listening to like Cypress Hill as well, West Coast music. My dad's favorite, before he passed away, his favorite music was New York rap, like East Coast rap.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So I just grew up, I was just around music all the time. And not just hip hop, like they would every Sunday religiously in El Paso, everyone in El Paso knows like you have to play oldies. And like you play them, like they start at 12 and then they don't stop. So I grew up listening to oldies as well. And I feel like not only do I rap, but I also do like vibes and stuff, like heartfelt, like painful songs. And I feel like oldies like contribute a lot to that, you know what I mean? Like that soulful part of me. Other than that, like I also had friends that were like into rock bands and like, you know what I mean? Like people, all kinds of genres of music. I just loved music. And before I made music, I was constantly listening to music. I was constantly looking for the next new artist that I was gonna fall in love with. And like just had this very eclectic like collection of music that I love listening to.
You know, and I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about you. I've told you this numerous times now. I actually heard of you 2016, 2017. I believe it was G-Spook that put you on my radar. Rest in peace, G-Spook, by the way.
Rest in peace.
He had mentioned to me about, you know, this new artist coming out of El Paso. He said Krystall Poppin. I've told you, when I heard the name, I was like, is that like a 14-year-old rapper? Like it just sounded real bubblegum to me when I heard it. But fast forward, obviously you started working with GT, you started working with Mike, and I started seeing some of the videos circulating, and then I started doing my research. So I came across the video Miss Poppin, which is a video, I think that might have been your first video. I don't know how old that video is, but I think it's like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I felt like it demonstrated a certain level of charisma. But I think the biggest thing that I took away from that was the fact that you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, a birdie even told me that you experimented with like rock music for a while.
Yeah.
See, I've been doing my research, you know what I mean? And
a lot of people don't know that. I had a whole rock band.
Yeah, they told me, they're like, yo, you know Krystall did rock music? I was like, Interesting. I'm gonna bring it up to her one day. Did you have a name of? Did you have a?
I did. I'm not gonna expose it yet because my dream is to bring it back. Like later on in time, I'm gonna bring it all back, and then it's gonna be a whole thing. But I can't expose the name yet. But yeah, the music's out there.
All right, dope. Well,
like if you find it, you find it.
Well, I'm gonna find it. Just so you know, the link will be in the comments somewhere in here.
That's funny.
No, but let me ask you. So, at what point you talk about your journey of music? At what point did you realize that it was real? That this is something you were really gonna pursue as a career? You know, what did that look like?
So when I first started, literally the day I started was the day that I recorded in my room that first song. Like I haven't left it since that day. But I was doing it for like a year or 2 years, and then that's when I met LFDC, which is a group that I'm still with to this day. And they just they saw something in me, you know what I mean? And they told me like we believe in you, we want to help you in any way we can. So for a couple years, we were all doing a bunch of work in El Paso. We were like opening up for people's shows that were coming through the city. Like we were starting to get our name buzzing in the city, and it was really cool. And then once I saw that like people were interested in me, and like I was getting like views, like back then like YouTube, to get 1,000 views as a local artist in a day, like that was big news, like for a local artist, right?
It still is. Don't discredit. Yeah, I remember to you it is, but it's still a big deal for those aspiring artists out there, right?
For new artists, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And when I was starting to put out videos, I was getting that kind of attention, and it was really surprising to me and everyone around me. They were just like, that doesn't happen like for brand new artists. So they're like, you got something, like you need to take this serious. So for a couple years I was grinding. I even went to like beauty school. I started cutting hair to save money for music. Like anything I did was for music. And then it was 2015, I believe. That's when me and my manager, DS Jr., we were talking one day, and I was like, bro, like I need to do this full time. Like I can't be cutting hair and trying to rap and like adding days off and like all this stuff. Like it wasn't working for me because I was working and trying to do music, and I was like, let's go full time, bro. Like manage me and like let's move out of El Paso. And he said, yeah, let's do it. So in 2015, I moved out.
You spread your wings and you started flying?
And I started flying.
Relocated to where? Vegas? Houston?
I went to Vegas first.
Houston, maybe Atlanta, whatever the Drake's on. And apparently that's right. So, you know, you mentioned your father passing earlier, and I don't want to go too much into this, but how much of that is a motivation for you? Because I saw one of your posts recently on social.
Yeah.
And I feel like me, obviously, you know, you're doing my event. I named the whole event after my mom's record shop.
Yeah.
So I'm real sensitive, and I get really emotional. Sometimes I start getting all, you know, it's sensitive, but I'm very motivated by that.
Yeah.
How much of that plays a part in your story and what you're trying to do from a legacy perspective as an artist?
Honestly, I believe that like my father is kind of like the cornerstone of everything that I've become, because not only did he like I miss him, you know what I mean? Like a big piece of me was taken out of my life. I don't even celebrate Father's Day because that's how like hard it is for me. Like that day, like I'll get off my phone and I don't even want to look at anything. Like I just pretend it's a regular day. But like it's so, I still have him like close to me. Like I talk to him still to this day. Like, you know, I ask for him for inspiration and for guidance all the time. So I feel like he's still active in my life. I feel like he, as well, like he had a music ear, like he had an ear for music and he loved music, and anyone around will tell me that. And I think I got that from him as well. Also his like taste in music, like that's my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he would make a bunch of mixtapes. Like he has cassette tapes full of music that he just like recorded off of like the radio, or like his friends were DJs and he was just like getting all this music together. And that was just like him, and I think I got that from him. Also, like the fact that he's gone, I feel like I want to inspire like my family. You know what I mean? Like that, it's the biggest thing that's happened to us, like tragedy. And I definitely want it to be something that we come out of like triumphant. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I say this because I know this for a fact. I'm sure he's proud of you. Because you're out there, you're doing your thing, you're grinding, you're working, you're going out, you're doing shows, you're touring. And, you know, it takes a lot, especially for a female artist, because it's difficult to get taken serious in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult being a new artist because you're always compared to somebody. I'm sure you've heard all the comparisons imaginable. And I want to get to that because I want to know how you feel about some of those comparisons, whether it be Snow the Product or Cardi B or whoever, right?
Yeah.
You're like, it's inevitable.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, no, I talk about it with my team a lot because I don't feel like I am the same as someone else.
You're not. I'm letting you know you're not, but continue though.
But for instance, you see Nicki and Cardi, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, there's so many things you can say like they're the same, but if you really look at them, like you really look at Cardi B and you really look at Nicki Minaj, like they're two different artists, they're two different women, they represent two different things. And I think it's the same case with me, but I feel like with women, people don't have too many comparisons.
Correct.
You know, there's not a lot to compare to just because rap is, you know, male dominated. So when a new female comes up, no matter who, what, where she's from, like there's gonna be 20 people that they're gonna think she's like until she proves herself that she's her own thing, you know, like she's doing her own thing, which there are a lot of copycats and stuff like that,
yeah,
but
for sure.
I always strive to be original. I always strive to be like, not even like what's gonna make me different. I just always try to be like, what's gonna make me me? And that's the most different thing I can be from anybody. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
I feel when I hear your music, and I've heard enough of your music now to know, I know who you are and I don't feel like you sound like anybody else. Mm-hmm. You know, but within our culture, people do that. People are extremely territorial. Like, they see somebody come in, they're like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, these comparisons, and it gets fucking weird fast.
Yeah, I think that it's funny because I feel like I'm more similar to some male rappers than female rappers.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Just because that's who I grew up listening to and who I grew up studying. Like, yes, I've studied the females in the music industry, but like it was like male rappers, such as like my top 5 favorite rappers. Like, first of all, it's Kendrick Lamar, because he's the one, like when I started rapping, like he's the one that was blowing up, like I had never heard anyone like him before, so I fell in love with him, and he taught me like how to write, how like his structure and everything. I studied him a lot. Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Extentacion, and Drake. Like those are people that I feel that I look up to the most, and I would compare myself more to like their likings instead.
Yeah, I got
you, know?
you, and I would have never necessarily correlated the two.
Yeah.
To be honest. Have you experienced any form of professional jealousy since you've been in the music industry?
For sure. Like I feel like since I started, even from
there was like a diss song of you in a boxing ring and shit, like.
Yeah.
I was like, was that kind of one of those instances?
Yeah, you know, I definitely, you know, like the fangs come out when you mess with me, because like I'm out here minding my own business. I'm never starting drama. I just do my own thing. So if you find something to beef about with me, like I have every right, I feel like I have every right to come at you with what I got, you know? So I'm not here for the beef. Like, truly, look at what I'm doing, listen to my work. Like, I'm not here to beef with nobody.
Absolutely. So let's switch over to a lighter mood, whatever, right? The song Apollodienda.
Yeah.
Dope song, man. I actually, when I first started, as soon as I heard it, I was like, yo, this is a really, really good song, because I feel like for you, and we're just talking about, you know, some of the inspiration, some of the motivation behind who you are as a person, which obviously translates into the artist, like it adds layers to you. Yeah. This song's very commercial appealing. It's very commercial friendly. How did the song come about?
So I was in LA. Well, I am currently living in LA, and I'm making music with Charles Chavez, and he set up this session for me, and he was just like, hey, I got some musicians and I want you to go, you know, kill the session, see what happens. So I go in there, we started making like we messed around with like the guitar, it was like live instruments, and it was really cool vibe. And I was like, they were like, what do you want to write about? And I was like, you know what, I think that right now the world needs something that feels good. The world needs something like not so not about beef, not about negativity. They need something to be happy, something that's gonna bring them happy vibes out. And I was just like, dude, let's make it about that. Like, let's make it feel like if you're at a barbecue, you know, you can smell the meat, and then like you're popping a beer open, you got your oldies on, like I said, like on a Sunday. Like, what does that sound like? So that's when I started writing my verses, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And I said, thank God that we made it through the lockdown. And I was just like, we just want to have a good time and all this stuff. And like this whole song came about, and it was really cool. Like it was dope, and it was the first time I kind of made a song like this. And I always wanted to try to make like a radio song, a song that went good with radio, because I feel like not everyone can do that. not everyone can make like a dope song that can be listened on the radio.
Truth.
And I was like, I want to be that level of artist. And I went for it, and I feel like it went pretty great. And then after I had completed the song, I was telling Charles, I was like, hey, I think it would be cool to have like an actual singer on the hook. And you know, like Paula, she got the pipe. So it's like, I was talking to him, and he was like, what about Apollodienda? And I was like, yo, yes. And Paula, like, I know her music. I grew up listening to her. I even told her one time, I was like, dude, you performed in El Paso, and I still remember your outfit because I loved you that much. So the fact that I got to work with her, it was like mind blowing to me. You know, it was a personal accomplishment for me for sure. And now we're homegirls, like, you know, now we hang out. Like,
every other IG stories, you and her.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we get it.
It's funny.
No, it's dope. I was like, that's it made sense. You know what I mean? But you mentioned California.
Yeah.
You're from Texas.
Yes,
In
sir.
and out or Whataburger?
Oh, Whataburger, 100%, always,
Okay. I was
always.
I was gonna say this interview's over, dog.
No, bro. Everyone always asks me that, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people who stay in and out have never had Whataburger, and I was like, you need to try Whataburger.
We needed to test your Texism. You know,
No,
your Texas-ism. You know what I mean?
I'm all about Whataburger.
All right. So what's next for you, man? Obviously, you know, I know you mentioned you're working with Charles, and I would love to ask way more questions, but you know, we're gonna save it for the next one.
Okay.
I want to know what's next for you. What do you got coming? And project.
So next, I'm basically hitting the road now. So I'm just gonna be all over for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? And for the time to come, like I don't want that train to stop. So I'm gonna hit the ground run. I already hit the ground running. My first day was the other day on tour. Shout out to Latina. She's also an upcoming California artist. And yeah, I'm just gonna be touring. And while I'm on tour, I'm carrying around my studio equipment and I'm recording, because I'm dropping a couple projects before next year comes, and a lot more music is coming, a lot more videos, and yeah, I got a bunch of content that I think everyone's gonna be like surprised and happy about.
I'm ready for the new music. I'm ready for the new videos, and you know, I want to let you know again. You know, I'm extremely happy and proud of you. The fact that you're out here, you're working. It takes a lot. A lot of people don't realize how resilient you have to be in the music industry. How resilient you have to be to hear the no's.
Yep.
To hear people criticize and critique you. And so for you to be here after all these years, you know, obviously, like I said, I became familiar with you pretty early on. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different. I have a little bit more of a, you know, like a different opinion about you.
Yeah.
But just knowing that you went through that, through your rock band,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Through
it's going to come back.
Through all of this, it's pretty dope. So I appreciate you joining us.
Thank
My
you.
friends, that right there is Krystall Poppin. Y'all make sure to follow on Instagram. You already know what it is. Nothing Beats Experience. We out.